Welcome to my garage. You are sitting in a hole where the floor used to be, so needless to say, this is a work in progress. Speaking of work, I've got to drill some holes in this 4-inch slab here. It's about 30 years old, so it's good and cured, nice and hard, which means you need a hammer drill to get through it. Didn't have one, so I went to Harbor Freight and I picked up this Bower unit. I shelled out 40 clams for it. And I got to thinking, is $40 really enough to do all of this work? I've got to drill 22 of those holes. So I brought in some backup. This is an 18-volt brushless Milwaukee. It's top of the line. It's the newest. It's got the 6 amp hour red lithium battery, high output, but it costs about 6 times more than this Bower. Altogether, it's about $250 or so if you include the battery and the charger, which this tool doesn't come with. So, for the money, which one of these tools can do the job, do it faster and better? We're gonna test that out, but first let's go over the specs so we know what we're dealing with here. Here's the specs that they advertise on the boxes for each drill here. First, the Bower, of course it's 120 volts compared to Milwaukee's cordless 18 volt. Now the Bower is faster. It's got a 2800 RPM motor. That's free speed, that's not loaded. And the Milwaukee is gonna be a lot slower, up to 1800 RPM. Beats per minute, a lot more. Bower, 45,000 beats per minute. Milwaukee, it's only gonna be in 27,000 beats per minute. They both have a 1/2-inch chuck. That's where the Milwaukee sort of wins here. It's keyless. On the Bower, you've got a keyed chuck. The key goes right here on the cord. The Bower though has this handle on it. I suspect that's gonna help me give it a lot of push and a little bit more control. The Milwaukee is just gonna be a lighter, smaller tool. It doesn't have a handle to hold on to, so we'll see how that works on the concrete. Today we're using a 1/2-inch Milwaukee masonry bit. This is gonna be good for going through this concrete. Let's get these guys over there and see which one wins. I'm drilling these 1/2-inch holes to accept number 4 rebar, and that's gonna act as a dowel to tie together the new concrete with this old slab so they don't move independently. The overall size of the project is 8.5 feet by 11 feet, and it's going to be 12 inches deep from the top of the old slab. I had that set for 3 inches. I'm gonna go one more. Let's go to 4 inches. All right, that was pretty good. So I'm gonna go over here, move to the next hole. We're gonna check that out with the Milwaukee. I'm gonna use the same drill bit. All right, here's the Milwaukee. I've got the same drill bit I just used here. Now let's set it for hammer and make sure we've got a fresh battery, and we do. All right, let's get her done. This is a massive project for me. It's been months in the making, and I've still got a few months left to go before I'm finished, but I'm going to be super excited when it's all done, and I can't wait to show you. Now, can you guess what it is I'm installing here in the garage? Leave your comments down below. If you're right, I'll leave a heart next to your comment. Also, tell me if you want to see the rest of the install as a video. If there's enough interest, I can make a video on the entire process from start to finish. Wow, it took a lot of effort. Let's go over here to the next hole. I want to do it with the Bower again because I only did that 3 inches. Let's go all the way 4 inches. We're going to time it. Round 2. Here we go. It slipped off center there. That was my fault. It walked. So I'm gonna drill here. I don't want to try and fix that. So we're just going to go this way. Here we go. All right, same drill bit as before. There we go, round 2. Okay, it looks like the best run with the Bower so far is 10 seconds, 12 with the Milwaukee. Let's do 2 more holes. I wanna see if we can get really consistent on that and give you the best time. Now, admittedly, bit changes are not as fast with this because you need to use the key, but if you're just doing a bunch of holes that are the same size, I think that's gonna be just fine. I think this is a result of me getting a little excited to use this tool and not set it up properly. You saw before I didn't have the depth set correctly. I was just like, come on, let's use this thing. I wonder if that would be a good one. Let me try that. Now this time I'm gonna tighten it down better so it doesn't slip on me, and that's pretty good. We've got our depth set for 4 inches here, and I've got it, that's what it looks like. So I'm going to use hands at 9 and 3 position here, and maybe it won't walk like it did before. All right. Air protection back on. These things are loud. Okay, at the end of round 3, this Milwaukee is really looking pretty strong here. A 9-second run time on that hole puts it into the lead. Now this Bauer, it's a little bit more difficult for me to use than I thought it would be. I'm not used to using handles like this and having my hands in those positions. Most drills that I use, I go like this and I just push in with my hands together. So this is actually getting worse. I'm at 15 seconds now. Probably has a lot to do with me. I'm not doing very well here, but I can also feel some heat coming out of this gear case. Now that might have something to do with it. The Milwaukee feels room temperature and it's doing all right. This thing is starting to heat up. So what I want to do now is a bit of a torture test. Let's go with the rest of the holes here. I've got 16 more to go. I want to see if this Bauer is up for that challenge. Let's go 16 holes, non-stop, no rest time, no cool down. And I want to see if this Bauer can do it without letting the smoke out. Well, we did it. That is not easy work. Kudos to anyone who's in masonry or construction in general. This is definitely a rough job. Let me go get a thermometer. Okay. "130 degrees on that guy, if you can see that. That's on the metal gear case here. Getting pretty toasty. It's that would be too much. That's really hot for me to try and handle, so maybe that's why we got the handle here. Now, you saw me try different hand positions with this handle, trying to get the one that feels best for me. And honestly, I couldn't find one. I just kind of went with pushing on the back of the drill with my body. Okay, here's my final thoughts on the Milwaukee versus Bauer hammer drill challenge. Milwaukee wins hands down for ergonomics. I like the way that it feels in my hands. It's what I'm used to. Having cordless and having keyless chuck, also awesome. Makes it a lot easier to use, especially if you're using it a lot. Now this Bauer, it's all about the bargain. This thing is 40 bucks. I mean, you can get a lot of holes drilled until this thing starts heating up. For 40 bucks, that's a really good deal. But the worst thing about it, other than the ergonomics and everything, is it started to walk. You saw the drill bit, it was walking away from the mark that I was trying to drill on. And every one of these holes, or at least most of them, are about ½ an inch away from where I wanted them to be. And that has a lot to do, I think, with the run out in this chuck. If it's just off a little bit as it's rotating, this bit is gonna walk all over the place, and where it finally gets a bite, that's just where the hole's gonna be, so it's a lot less accurate. If you're gonna do this as a hobby, one time like I'm doing here, Bauer all day long, you're gonna get a great deal here. But if you're going to be using a hammer drill more often than that, you might wanna try for a Milwaukee or a different quality tool, because you're gonna like using it a lot better. That's my thoughts. Go check out the Amazon store. I've got the Milwaukee and the battery in the tool store now under Power Tools. You can check them out there. And down there, you can watch the next video. I'll see you there.